Mic Drop Moments is sponsored by Grow Radio. Grow Radio is an online radio station dedicated to bringing you a different podcast on the hour, every hour. I'm proud that Mic Drop Moments is played on Grow Radio every Tuesday at 3 p.m. and Friday at 8 a.m. and to be part of their podcasting community. If you want to listen to the station, explore their shows, check out many of the blogs to improve your podcasting skills, or get your podcast onto Grow Radio, head over to growradio.uk today. Today I'm chatting with Sarah Gray, style coach, which gives you a hint as to what Sarah might do. Great to have you here, Sarah.
Thank you so much, Sandra. It's wonderful to be here.
Now, I was going to say you've been knocking around for a few years now, but it's probably the wrong expression to use. But actually, you're not new to business, are you?
No, I'm not. And I actually use that expression myself about myself so don't worry. But yeah, no, 18 and a half years in business. So a long time. Can't believe I'm still here. But the great thing about it is that businesses have evolved over that time. I've evolved over that time. And I think I probably am in a best and most enjoyable place with it all now in all that time.
And that's great, because when you do run, I mean, I'm going into my 10th year of business next year, and it is, you question yourself along the way, and you have those moments where you think, oh, is it worth it? Shall I carry on? Are people a bit bored of it now? Or and you have those like little moments, don't you? But it's lovely to hear you say that you're in a great position now, and you are now an award-winning business as well. And we'll come on to that a little bit later. So tell us what you do.
Well, as a style coach, I help women, mainly women who run their own business, to be confident and feel confident in showing up as their true selves. So yes, we are talking about their wardrobe, but as a coach, I go a bit deeper than that to find out really who they are and how they want the world to see them and what blocks are stopping them from taking that step to be visibly their true self. So wonderful position and honor, and I always feel really honored to be in this position to help women, and it's a fabulous job.
Yeah. So give us a bit of the background then. How did you get into this? What were you doing before 18 years ago that gave you that moment where I'm going to set up as a style coach?
I know. It wasn't even I haven't got some amazing big thing that dropped in to think I would change. It was just circumstance, really, to be honest. Before this, I worked as a trainer and a salesperson. I hated that bit. I liked the training, but not the sales bit. And I worked for a legal company, legal software. Everybody jokes about that and says, well, I'm glad it's not illegal software. But anyway, it was in a particular niche of the legal industry in intellectual property. Now, I'm not in any shape or form a lawyer. I was working with the lawyers to use a particular piece of software. And I loved it. I loved the getting to know people, building those customer relationships, and had the same clients for many, many years. But then I decided that I was going to move to Leamington. I was living down in the southeast then. I was going to move in with my now husband, but we'd never lived together before at that point. And I was going to not commute down to London. So I was going to give up work and do something else. My friends thought I was bonkers because you're going to do all those three things at once. But I was and still am really a great believer in our sort of gut instinct. And I knew that it was going to be all right. So I did all those things, changed all those things. And then one of my sisters said to me, I think you should do the style thing. And I said, what are you talking about? I can't do that. And she gave me her perception of me, which someone could have slapped me around the face with a wet fish. It was just so far from my own perception of myself that she floored me, but she also planted a little seed. And within 3 months of that, I was retraining, setting up a business, and the rest, as you say, is history.
And that's interesting that your sister saw that in you, but you couldn't see it yourself. What do you think it was because you were so focused on being the employee, doing the legal software, and that you couldn't see outside that? Or do you think it's just you had a style and your sister saw it, but you didn't?
Probably the latter. I then, after that conversation with that sister, I spoke to my other sister. I mean, the things these sisters have got to be accountable for. I mentioned to my younger sister, oh, Karen thinks this. And she said, well, yes, but don't you remember when we were at school and everyone copied what you wore? And I was thinking, no. So I think it's always been there.
Yeah.
And I think there was probably two elements were going on. One was, I just did what I did that felt natural to me. But secondly, I don't really talk about this very much actually, but I had all the way through childhood and teenage years a skin condition, eczema, but it was top to toe. It's severe eczema, painful, and I didn't think it looked very good at all. And I always tried to hide away. So I had a sort of an inner turmoil of, I want to do my style. Not. I didn't see it as a style thing, but I wanted to be me. I wanted to be different, but I didn't want to stand out. So I had that fight. So it never. I was more focused on not standing out than, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's a bit.
Well, it's always not standing out with style.
Yeah.
You obviously did it in a way that you were different and people saw that and wanted to emulate that.
Yeah, I think so. And but it's really funny how I just wasn't aware of it. I thought we just all did the same thing. I thought we were all, by our sixth form days, all wearing the strange things that we used to wear back then. And I thought it was just what we did. I didn't know that apparently I'd started it. I don't know. So
Apparently,
anyway, best
yeah.
thing ever. Best thing ever I've ever done. So
Well, apparently I was quite unique with my outfits when I was growing up. Again, probably didn't realise, but
yeah.
I like to be different. So I wore gloves and hats and
Fantastic.
boots with dresses that people didn't wear then. It
Yeah.
was, I'd find this a quirky edge, you
Work.
could
Yeah.
say. And people used to say, people I meet now that knew me back then say, oh, well, yeah, but you used to dress amazing. Or I'd wear a boiler suit with stilettos and things.
Fabulous.
But people didn't wear them at that point. Mine was bright pink.
Yeah.
People didn't wear
Brilliant.
that with a hat, but it was my style. And my mum was always what I call a classic dresser, but
Yeah.
very stylish. And I always put it down to her being Italian and having that in her house,
Oh,
her
yes. Yeah.
clothes, just having that natural ability to put things together and look amazing.
Yeah.
So I used to go take her shopping with me because she used to help me pick these amazing clothes.
Wonderful.
And
Oh, I love that.
yeah, I do miss that about her now.
Yeah.
Because I haven't got her to tout around the shops, and she was the honest person that would tell you. And do you do that? Do you tell people honestly, or do you coat it in sugar?
It depends. I don't, I'm always honest. The words might be kinder than, but I think if you're going to work with a stylist, you want to hear it, because otherwise you wouldn't, I don't think you'd even pick up the phone. I think you'd not want to hear it. So I see it as my duty that I need to be honest, because that's what they're paying me for. But I'm not horrible. I'm not going to use horrible words or anything like that. But I'm also gonna give background to it. So I'm gonna say, this would work better slightly because of blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But on the flip side of that, I do agree. I do believe even that personality tops absolutely everything. So part of working with me means we look at color, we look at silhouette, proportions, all of those things. But fundamentally, personality's got to come at the top of all of it. And if, for example, somebody says, yeah, I know that that's not great for my shape and la, 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 but I love it, then they're going to wear that with their head held high and they are absolutely going to rock it. So that's controversial, but for me, personality tops it all.
And I think that's an important thing because, and my mum was very harsh with the words. Come out of the changing room and she'd say, "Well, you're not going out in that. Look at the size of your bum in that, or that's got your boobs hanging out. You can't wear that one."
Yeah.
She was very,
Only
very
the way a mum can talk to a daughter.
exactly. But she was very complimentary as well. And I have been to shops where I've tried things on and it's the oh, what pretty woman moment where
Yeah.
they're looking you up and down with disdain if you're trying something expensive on, or they come and they're all gushing all over you. Oh my God, that looks amazing. That looks amazing. And they're just saying it. And I've bought mistakes like that in the past where I've been conned into buying something, got home and thought, this doesn't suit me at all. This color is not me. That shape doesn't flatter, and ended up having to take them back. So you do want that honesty.
I think so. Yeah,
So
definitely.
what do you work with? Younger women, older women, men, or do you have a particular niche?
So I have worked all through that, but now, because I don't have a studio at home, I work in my clients' homes or online. So I not sure that's the word, niche, that's the word, isn't it, to women. And I work, I would find, I don't ever say I don't work with younger, but I find it's women round about 50 and above, roughly. Just that's how it's come to, and it's where I focus. I think mainly we get to a point in there are very different, hang on, let me start again. There are different times, I think, in our lives that can cause us to have a wobble over our confidence, our style, and one of those is around that sort of 50 mark. And so I see a lot of women who have they've become the bottom of the pile in their whatever their homes or work situation is, and so they're really wanting to put themselves back up the top of the pile and really be out there visible as their true selves, as I said at the beginning. So yeah, a long-winded answer to your question. Older but not old.
I'm going to throw something else at you here. So, and this is me, the world's worst.
Okay.
I have got several wardrobes.
Okay.
We will discount the shoes for now because they're in the hundreds, and I have thrown some out.
Okay.
But I have wardrobe. I went in one wardrobe the other day and I looked at it. I'm saying the other day, it's a few weeks back now, and it was black.
Okay.
My whole wardrobe was black because it was almost, and you're right, when you hit 50, you get an extra middle as well for post-menopause. And I black and baggy, I would say, a lot of my clothes. And then I realized I needed to get my colors back. So I've introduced color with the black.
Yeah.
But I've also got wardrobes that have got different size clothes in. So I've got my thin wardrobe, my fat wardrobe, my black wardrobe, and then the few clothes that I actually wear. Am I unusual?
No. No, and I will say it doesn't matter who I see, in the sense that there'll be a number of things that get said. One is I've literally got nothing left. I've had it clear out, and there might be half a dozen things that they're wearing on repeat. But more often than not, it's what you've described, Sandra. So it's, well, that was a past life. I don't wear any of those. It might have been that they're a different size and all of those things. So you're not unusual, but well, I don't think you are. But it did when. Is it serving you having all that stuff? That's the only thing I would say to question.
It's not, and I am doing a big declutter of my life at the moment. I'm trying to
Brilliant.
What I've equated it to is get my wardrobe down to two suitcases, a winter suitcase and a summer suitcase. So if ever I want to travel, I've got a suitcase of stuff.
Ready to go. Yeah, brilliant.
And I realised you can't take this stuff with you. It's baggage, it's there, it's not serving me. And I have thrown away a black bag full of stuff that was probably in excess of 20, 30 years old.
Yeah.
Why on earth I was hanging on to it? It was sentimental stuff, I think, more
Yeah.
than...
And that's really, really common. And it's a really important piece, because I always say that the biggest thing we've got in our wardrobe are our emotions. And they are emotions around different things we did in life, a gift from someone, remembering a loved one through an event that we wore that to, or all sorts of different emotions come up. And so there'll come a point when you'll be ready to act on whatever's in there. You're at yours because you're like, right, don't need all this stuff. But it's lots of women will beat themselves up and say, oh, I should have got rid years ago. We get rid when the time is right, but we've got to get through those emotions. That's what I help them with as well.
I buy some of my clothes from a shop now, an online store, that they have a pre-loved section. So once you've
Brilliant.
bought
Yeah.
it a few times, if you don't like it or you've bought it as a one-off for something,
Yeah.
sometimes you have to, you can resell it through their site, which I think is a fantastic idea.
That is fantastic. Yeah, we're seeing that a little bit more and more with some of the smaller online retailers, which is great, really great.
Yeah. So let's talk awards.
Oh, yes.
You are an award-winning business. Now, you weren't new to my awards. I think you had entered before.
Indeed, I had.
So why have you entered my awards?
Lots of reasons. I think the main one is so twofold: personal recognition, and really when you enter your awards, the process of the filling out of the award entry form is a real piece of reflection when it's done properly. And it's not, I certainly, probably in the past when I entered, probably wasn't the right time anyway, but I probably didn't spend as much time on it as I did this year when I won. And I hadn't really equated that together until you've asked me that question. But it makes me realize, actually, do you know, I spent quite some time sitting down and really going through everything so that I left nothing out. And that was amazing, because one meant I realized how much I'd achieved, but secondly, it meant that I knew I couldn't have added anything else in there. So I'd given myself the best shot. And then I think the flip side of that is the outward recognition, the visibility that your awards give to any entrant, to a finalist, and then of course to a winner. But even just around being there and at the awards, the opportunities that come from that. Just lots of reasons, but probably they're the main two.
And the photography and the videography caught your moment this year,
Yes.
which was great, actually, because they don't know. They quite often ask me for a list of winners, and I deliberately don't give them that, because then they all focus on that table and that person, and then it takes away the element of surprise.
Yeah.
So it's trying to keep the element of surprise and just saying to my photographer and videographer, just be on guard. They just happen to be the right moment, standing in the right direction, and both caught you. Although I did have two photographers there too, and
Yes.
have a lot of coverage there.
Yeah.
But it to see that wonder, that shock, that surprise, the joy, and then the people that were just putting their arms around you was just lovely. And that's something I thought, how did you feel when during you probably don't remember those moments, but if you do on reflection.
My award is here. But you can't see it very well.
Everyone says because they're glass, they're see-through.
No, but it sits up there. So, and I tell everybody, but how did I feel then? I mean, I had settled myself into the day. I think it was afternoon, wasn't it? My name was called, and I'd really settled myself in. I was loving supporting everyone, loving the atmosphere, and it almost was I'd forgotten that I was a finalist. I was enjoying everyone else's achievements and wins, and the incredible speakers, and all the things that are going on, and so it was utter shock. And yeah, the reaching out was very, very special. I almost wish I could go and do it again and actually do it in slow motion. So you can really feel that amazing support in the room. It was something very special. Yeah.
And once you'd prized yourself away from everybody that was throwing their arms around you, you walked up onto stage, and then I read the words out from the judges, and we'll include those words in the show notes. But I don't imagine that you take those words in at the time.
No, I don't think you do. But it's what you do is amazing, because you send it to us all afterwards. And that is something, the next reflective piece, I suppose, where you can sit quietly and I still grin now, but still grinning and just really think, wow, they chose me because of these reasons. And that's really important information to know, I think, as a winner. And it hugely boosts it. Well, certainly for me, it's been a huge boost of confidence, of self-respect as well. I think that I always say, oh, I'll enter, but then I don't. And then, oh, I do, but I don't perhaps give it 100%. And then this time I'm like, no, I'm doing it and I'm giving it 100%. And that's
And
quite a proud moment as well.
I think people say to me, oh, how can we nominate people? And I say, I don't want you to nominate loads of people because nobody understands your business better than you. And you said
Yeah, that's
in that
true.
reflection piece on with the entry form, and they're sitting down and really digging deep and thinking about those achievements, thinking about what you've done, your journey, and sharing the stories. Nobody else can do that for you.
That's right. And I think, and like you're absolutely right. I had never, I mean, I didn't think I gave War and Peace, but I definitely picked out key moments, and it nobody else would have known. Some of them were small, like no one else would have known. Well, no one else would have been able to include a client testimony or something like that because they wouldn't know. so
No.
so you're right. I think we have to get over this stigma of, oh, I can't enter myself. No. And I thankfully got over it because it was definitely something worth doing.
Well, it's great to have your feedback because there are a lot of awards around there out there now. When I started, there weren't.
Yes,
There
of
are
course.
so many out there now, but I've tried to keep mine different. You know, I've taken away the categories, that reflection piece of the entry form, the
Mhm.
interviews, getting those words from the judges. They are all part of the journey.
Yeah.
And it's great that you've experienced that, not only winning an award, but you've also gone through the process before and not won an award as
Yeah.
well. You came back for more.
Yeah, because I think you realise that, well, certainly I did, that, well, I didn't when I got to in 2023, I received the one to watch, and I thought, oh right, so maybe this is within reach. I've just got to up my game, and it gave me sort of a booster, rocket boost, I suppose, to actually go, no, I need to up my game here if I want to stand on that stage. And I think being a finalist, there are so many entries. So even getting a finalist position is something to really be proud of and just give us a nudge to go again.
Yeah, well, that's great feedback. Thank you very much, Sarah. Sadly, we have run out of time, but I always ask my guests to leave us with a piece of wisdom or their mic drop moment. What would yours be?
Oh, so the question I get asked the most is, oh, I haven't got a style. How do I find one? And I always say, don't look outside, don't look in the shops. You look in your own wardrobe. Take each piece by piece, start with the ones you love and look at them and ask yourself the following. What is it I like about it? Might be the pattern, the cut, the fabric, the color, anything like that. And then move on to the next piece. And through doing that process, you will come out with a theme, an undercurrent of a theme of things that you're drawn to and that you love. And that's the beginning of your style because that's coming from in here. So yeah, give that a go.
Wow, I love that. I'm gonna go and try that. Fantastic.
Let me
Today,
know how you get on.
I will. Today I've been chatting with Sarah Gray, style coach, award-winning Sarah Gray. Thank you very much, Sarah.
Thank you, Sandra. It's been a pleasure.